Public Works putting New Yorkers on stage, and free theater downtown for our first free previews at Astor Place. So if you would like to participate in that, if you feel inspired tonight, there are many ways to give, including $1 at the concession stand, or it could be naming one of the seats that you're sitting in. We are continuing this campaign to keep this work free forever for everyone in New York City. If you want to, let's do it for that. If you would like to learn more, visit publictheater.org/foreverpublic. Now, I'm going to make sure I give a few thank yous today. We want to thank the City of New York, our elected officials, government employees, and the city's more than 8 million residents. Thank you so much. A big thank you to our unions, board of trustees, and the many individual corporate and foundation donors, partners, and supporters. Thank you so much. And a special thank you for our presenting partner, Citizens, and our lead sponsor, the Jerome L. Green Foundation. Together we help keep Shakespeare in the Park free for all. Now, a heads up that tonight you are still watching one of our previews, so you might see one of the actors call for a line. And before the show gets started, I have a special treat for you all. We are celebrating the 250th anniversary of this country by hearing from government workers all across the city. And tonight, you will be welcomed with a public story by your neighbor, Queens resident and retired chemist for the New York City Department of Environmental Protection, Vantzeti.
Good evening, everyone. I had a dream. It was the dream of my generation. It was the dream of generations before and after mine. This dream was America. But it was almost impossible to make my dream come true. I live in Bulgaria, a totalitarian state at that time, beyond the Iron Curtain. One day I succeeded to sneak under the curtain. I crossed 2 borders and I ended up in Italy. In Rome, I applied for a political asylum at the Embassy of the United States. I was granted it. The International Rescue Committee found me sponsors in New York. I passed through the immigration process, and one day, I remember that day, I was sitting in the jet from Rome to JFK, sipping Jack Daniels, and flying to my dream. In New York, I worked as a doorman at Burger King, a salesperson at welding company. Then I drove a yellow cab. But in my country, I have 2 degrees of chemistry, and I hope I'm going to continue with chemistry in this country too. I applied for a city job, and I was hired by the Department of Environmental Protection as a chemist in the Central Lab. The first 6 months, I was assigned to work with experienced chemists. It was the training period. After that, I was teamed to work with new employees and I was training them. And I remember one day, the very first day, working with the new employee, an Indian. We checked the car and the meters. Then I found a music playing on the radio, playing jazz all the day. And we headed to the new location. A few minutes later, I heard the voice of the rookie. Turn off this crap. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. In my country, there was a saying, think twice, then act. If we continue to argue and quarrel and it reached the ears of the management, then what? We were immigrants. The first thought which went to my mind is they could fire us. And I was a single father with 2 sons in the college. He has a wife and 4 kids. We traveled in silence to the first location. We collected the samples, and before heading to the next location, I told him, listen, my friend, we are allowed to listen some music or whatever on the radio during our traveling time. Let's divide it in 2. 50% of the time for me, the other 50 for you. And because I am a senior, I choose the time first. Deal? Okay, deal. Later on, we worked with him very often. Upon my request, he was telling me about Quran, about Ibrahim and family. He was a Muslim. On my side, I was telling him when I heard some music, I was just telling, this is a bebop, or this is Dixieland, or if I knew the musician, Duke Ellington, one of the greatest. We kept our relationship even as thin as a hair, but in a good balance. One morning I saw him waiting at the entrance of the lab. When he saw me, he shouted, Vasilev! I went there, Vasilev! My daughter, she won a scholarship. I congratulated him. I thanked him for honoring me to share his family joy. Then a thought crossed my mind. Maybe the new generation will bridge our differences with the cultures better and faster than us. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasilev. Now sit back and enjoy Romeo and Juliet.